I'll give you a personal example because all of you have lived with me through this experience. You all remember that my oldest son, Wesley, passed away almost 2 years ago. And Catherine and I were teaching in Auburn that weekend at the Hilton Hotel, Hilton at Garden Inn. It was a Friday night. Wesley had been very sick, and I was in constant contact with him, but I've been teaching all day, and I fell asleep. This was in November of 2008. And I had a dream in which Wesley came to me and said, "Dad, I'm dead." And it woke me up. Now I knew factually that he was not well. And I knew factually he didn't have a long time to live. But I woke up and it startled me so much, I stirred Catherine and I said, "Catherine, is Wesley dead?" And she said, "No, Stephen, he's not." I said, "Well, I need to call him." I taught that day, which was a Saturday, and on the way home, we had just gotten to the island and the cell service stopped. But as it was stopping, there was I could see a call was coming in from my brother. And I knew intuitively that it was going to be about Wesley. And so I didn't bother to answer it because I knew we'd lose service as soon as we got a few more feet on the island. I just waited till we drove home to downtown Stonington. And I called, and Donald said to me, "I have bad news for you." And I said, "I know what it is." I said, "Wesley's gone." And he said, "Yes. He died peacefully last night in his chair, his favorite chair. And he was found this morning by his roommate." I don't know how to explain that, but it happened. I can think of various things that have happened to people that I know over time. There's nothing factual or logical. I suppose somebody could rationally say that I was working it through in the left side of my brain, but I like to believe that maybe that mystery of life that I don't understand was preparing me for the news that was coming the next day. At least that's how I took it. Sometimes dreams are amazingly fortuitous and predictive. I remember well over 30 years ago, I was driving back from Kentucky, and I had a dream about two good friends of mine having a car accident. I remember that dream all these many years later, and the next day I was driving and the car was totaled. Now I don't know whether that was a warning to me or what it was, but I remember it. I have learned to pay attention to other things that go on in my life besides the logical and the linear. Jacob's life was changed because he had this vision of a ladder. The church, because of Peter's vision in the book of Acts, came to know that against everything that was written in the book of Leviticus or the Old Testament, that the Gentiles were also part of God's family. And it happened because of a dream that Peter had with his blanket came down, and there were all kinds of non-kosher animals, and God said to Peter, "Kill and eat what I have cleansed, don't call unclean." It was all metaphor and images and archetypes. But the bottom line message was that God's family included both the Jew and the Gentile. Inclusion. Something the church has struggled with for the last 2,000 years. Who's in and who's out? But the message that changed The whole book of Leviticus was a dream. A new vision that put the church on a new direction of inclusion and love. And in God's family, there's no people left out. Our dreams may or may not mean something significant. I know that there are various theories with dreams, and I'm not interested in that. I'm taking a spiritual perspective this morning in that the work of the dreamer and looking at the dream, the meaning, the process of meaning is yours. I've sat in dream groups and helped to co-lead dream groups, and the way that it works is that people tell a dream. This is all confidential, by the way, otherwise we'd never get into this stuff. People tell a dream, and people respond by saying, instead of saying this is what it means, people say, if this were my dream, this is what it would mean to me. Understanding that we're projecting on someone else's dream. Often, when I've been in groups when someone's had a dream and other people have gotten insights because of the dream. The Australian Aborigines have walking dreams. You know, other peoples on the planet, Native Americans, paid attention to their dreams. I'm saying the biblical tradition says pay attention to this creative, imaginative stuff. So this morning, the dream work that you do in paying attention to dreams, you can disregard them, many do. Or you can take them seriously and look at them as a reflection in a mirror and ask yourself the exciting thing, what could this possibly mean? What is this? Why am I dreaming this now? The other night after the night from hell, when I was in Maine Medical Emergency, I had a series of nightmares. I think you would too if you've been told that if you didn't get to the doctor. I remember I asked Dr. Zelnick late Thursday night, I said, can this wait until Monday? He said, no, go to the emergency room now. There's a short window of time that this can be fixed. And I will tell you that when that was all over, I had about 4 hours of sleep. It was full of nightmares when I got home. Understandably so, I would think. But in the end, I saw this glorious eagle, bald eagle flying. And I said, I am that eagle. For those that wait upon the Lord, Isaiah the prophet said, shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. So if people in the Bible paid attention to their dreams, I'm suggesting that perhaps you might want to. If Native Americans paid attention to dreams, I'm suggesting perhaps there's something you can learn by paying attention to your dreams. If the Aborigines in Australia pay attention to them, I'm suggesting that perhaps you do. Let's engage both sides of our brain in our faith, because life is a mystery. And with all of the science, and with all the facts, and with all the logic, and with all of the sequential thinking that there is still mystery and room for imagination. Let us open our hearts to the possibility that there are other ways of knowing and being besides the left side of our brain. Amen.